just, I guess, let everyone know, sorry.
Yeah, we're ready to go, Jeremy, whenever you're ready. So fancy. Problem is that he's not gonna be able to tell us when he's going. Just have him text you. Okay. Good evening. Today is Monday, March 7th, 2022, regular session of the Board of the School Trustees of the School City of East Chicago. The time is now 6:03 p.m. The place, School City of East Chicago Administration Building, 1401 East 144th Street, East Chicago, Indiana. This is also being live streamed at www.scec.k12.in.us. This is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. Can we please have a roll call?
Trustee Rodriguez,
Present.
Trustee Gomez,
Present.
Trustee Williams,
Present.
Trustee Smith, Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Present. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion for the approval of the agenda?
Madam President, I move for approval.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigum, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Gomez.
Yes.
Trustee Williams,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Next, we have the presentation, Dr. Finley.
Tonight, we have our special education department who's going to present their department's goals and objectives for the 21-22 school year.
Good evening, School Board of Trustees, Dr. Finley, and School City Community. Tonight, we're just going to go over some of our goals, as Dr. Finley said, and some things about our department. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ebony.
Okay. The purpose of the presentation is to give information about the department, discuss goals, compliance, accountability, partnerships, programs, and successes, and our next steps. This is at a glance of our special education department. It's about 600 plus students. It gives a breakdown of the preschool, elementary, middle school, and high school teachers that we have. It tells you that we have 45 paraprofessionals and all of our related services that are included. One of our programs that we have is the preschool program. It's two programs. All of our students at the preschool are included. The majority are included in all classrooms. The students with the most significant disabilities receive intense services. We have pull-out and push-in models of service. There are therapy, which is push-out and push-in as well. We have a therapy and sensory room, a parent cafe, and a preschool testing team. At our elementary level, we have the malintervention programs with co-teaching, push-in, and pull-out, the applied skills program with more significant students with more significant disabilities, but they are also included in general education classroom, no longer a place but a service. We have the emotional disability program where every student takes part in general education classrooms as well. We have the resource room and students receive accommodations and related services, and they have the therapeutic room for services as well.
Good evening. To continue, I'm going to talk about middle school. And at the middle school level, we have mild intervention services, which are done with co-teaching, where there's a gen ed and a special ed teacher in a classroom. We also have the push-in, pull-out model, a resource room, a self-contained room, and our applied skills program. Students, and I should have said this at the beginning, all of the students are gen ed students first. So every area that we talk about, we're hoping and expecting that the teachers place them as much as possible with their gen ed peers. We also have an emotional disabilities classroom. They're included in the gen ed classroom to their maximum extent. And again, special education is no longer a place, but a service. At the high school level, we have the mild interventions, which is similar to middle school, co-teaching, push in and pull out. And we have another program that we added at this level called the Learning Lab. And what I want you to understand about the Learning Lab is it's a way to meet the needs of gen ed and special ed. These students can all come to the Learning Lab. I would say it's similar to tutoring, but there's a little bit more involved with it. We have our M classes, which participate as well in the general ed curriculum. And our M classes are using that gen ed curriculum in a slower pace for these students who need significant help. We also have the multi-categorical class, which is a direct service part of the day. They still have the opportunity to spend time in gen ed through our CTE program, through their specials, their like PE and other areas. And we're going to talk more about CTE in a little bit. We also have emotional disabilities, which, like I've already said, services students with the most significant needs around social and emotional health and well-being, still utilizing that general ed curriculum. And then we have job skills and applied skills. And we're going to show you more about that in a moment. We have 2 goals for our special ed department. By May of 2022, so that's nearing the end of our year, our special ed department will increase the number of students with special needs participating in our CTE program by 25 students, which I know sounds small, but it's actually very huge. And we'll explain CTE to you in just a moment. By May 22, our special ed department will increase our growth by 5% on the state assessments to remain in compliance with the federal measures of the results-driven accountability, which is RDA. Tammy will explain more about that in just a couple seconds.
And good evening, everyone. This is Ebony, by the way, McClellan, and that's Elaine Meyer, and then Ms. Koulianis is with us tonight, too. So the federal government and the state, they grade us as a department for special education. It's called an RDA, and it's Results-Driven Accountability. So within that, our report card includes whether we complete federal grants on time, dates and timelines, if we meet those. We meet the federal indicators, of course, growth. That's why we're talking about that percentage increase, because we have to grow so much on specific state assessments. And then, of course, there's the 1% participation. So all of these are included in the RDA, and I'm going to go over each of those. So we talked about CTE. Well, for many, many years, our students were not included because of the fact that they could not pass some of the certifications. So when Ms. Lee came in, we started talking, Ms. Koulianis and I and Ms. Lee, and we really tried to see how we can find a way to get our kids to participate. So from 1819, there were only 26 students participating, and I'm happy to report that we have increased our students up to 75% as of 2021. We're hoping that that doubles for next year, and we've got a plan to increase that. Our students deserve to participate, and yes, they may not be able to pass those assessments or those certifications, because what happens is, a lot of people don't know this, but I take all these CTE classes. Now, when I go to take this certification, as a student with special needs, I have all these accommodations while I'm in school. When I go to take that CTE certification, I don't get any accommodations. So all this time, I'm used to getting that little extra time, that little extra help, and I don't meet the requirements. So what we've decided is, so if they don't get the certification, at least they get a certificate that says, I have participated in the CTE program, and I have these skills as I walk out. So here's the report card for 2020. When it came to all of our reports, all of our indicators, we were at 100%. We met all guidelines. As far as the results for students, we were at a 26%. And that's just shows you our school size. So we're in the group of from 2,500 to 10,000. So 2021, we were out an indicator, and I'll talk a little bit more about that, but we were at 84.7%, but we increased to 40%, and I was really happy about that. And that had a lot to do with working with the curriculum director, working with, as teams last year, we worked together to provide students with what they needed. You know, I was never included on a lot of the iReady and all of that, but last year I was included in a lot of the actual curriculum and what went on in the general education, and that helped a lot because that also helped our students to receive those skills, and it's just helpful when we worked as teams, and so that's why I really believe that's how we increased. So our federal indicators, these are all tied to dollars. So when they mandate, and I think you guys know, when the federal government mandates various things, they don't give any dollars with it, but they do take it away. So if you don't meet those guidelines, you could look at probably taking 15% of your budget to spend on specific things. They never give you. This is the first time since I can remember in special ed that we actually receive dollars, and those are the American Rescue's dollars. But so federal compliance indicators. When you hear me, I'm always saying to remain in compliance, and you see all those memos, well, this is what this is about. So they look at our suspension, they look at our expulsion, and I'm going to say I am very proud of the fact that, one, in all the years that I've been here, I really work hard not to allow students to be expelled. I believe that we have to find other ways to service students. Expulsion is just something a student that is expelled, the likelihood of them graduating goes down 50%. And so we really work hard to keep these suspensions down also. So we've met every indicator. Last year with transition, we fell apart and we didn't have some of the supports in place. And so the students did not receive some of the things that they really needed. This year, we've already worked with the state. Our CAP, which is our corrective action plan, has been accepted. And I got an email last week saying that we have one more thing to do, and we may be released already. So we'll be at 100% hopefully next year. We just have to work hard. It's a lot of training, it's a lot of informing, it's a lot of reviewing. And so the staff, as far as our team goes, we really work hard to keep in compliance. And I'm going to tell you that I'm very proud. I'm going to brag because those indicators and all of the reports that we get in on time, the most of your school districts, some are out 3 to 4, some to 5 indicators. And you know what? Since I've been here, we've been able to keep in compliance. Not to say that, you know, something may come up or whatever, but we work very hard to meet those federal compliance indicators. Now, least restrictive environment is number 5. That is also tied to dollars. And as you see, if you look on the bottom, 2011, when I started here, well, let me first tell you, 50, 51, and 52. What those indicate is a 51 means that a student spends 80 or more percentage of time in the general education. The 51 is that they spend from 49 and above in special education. And a 52 means that they spend up to 40% in the general education. No, I'm sorry, in special education. The federal government said, we have to meet specific guidelines. When I started in 14, we were at 56%, almost 57% of our students in the gen ed. And I'm so happy to report that we actually have exceeded the federal guidelines, and we're at 72.56. Like I said, it's a lot of training. There's a lot of just working, talking and training, especially admin, because they need to understand that our children are first gen ed students, and then you move towards supports as needed. And like I said, there was a lot of training, there was a lot of helping out, working, being part of teams, whatever it took, that's what we did, because we want to make sure that we are meeting these guidelines. Okay, go ahead. So this is a report that we received on our data, on our various reports that we have to submit. And every year we've received 100%. Our Nilsa, Trish, we work with the data department, and we work hard, and we get all of our reports in on time. So every year we've received 100%, and I'm very proud of that too. Okay, go ahead. Okay, next is our 1%. So when I started in 2014, 5.7% of our students with IEPs were taking what's called the alternate assessment. And the federal government put the hammer down and said, this is not acceptable. You have to move towards the 1%. So that means that only 1% of students should be taking this assessment. And we had to review our files, we had to really take a look at our programs as to why so many students were taking this assessment. We looked at the fact that sometimes there was a student with a specific learning disability that should have never been taking that assessment. We weren't sure how or why they were taking it. So what we did was we took the guidelines, we took all the training videos, we sat down with the staff, we talked to the admin, we said, listen, we've got to fix this or we're going to be in trouble. So in 2014, as I said, we were at almost the 6%, and now at 2020, we are at 1.69. This year, we've had the most students with significant disabilities move in. I've never seen an increase like I have. Our classes are packed. And I'm just going to say, I'm not sure why, but I do know that we do a really good job. We offer a lot of services. We support our students. And we do have a lot of students from other districts. So we have some students that come in from Portage, Crown Point. And I really believe the parents have said they bring their students here because they feel as though they get the supports that they need. And so I'm really proud of that. But we have moved towards less students taking that assessment, and we do monitor every student that's placed on that assessment. We look, did they meet the criteria? Did they meet the federal guidelines? So that we are never in that position where we were in 2014 again. Okay, so Ms. Klianis.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm Trish Klianis, and I'm Transition Coordinator for the school district. And I am really excited to tell you about some of the things that we have going on at Central High School. And so the next few slides are going to just show you snapshots of some of the things that our kids are doing. What we're trying to do is to create work opportunities and teach them skills for students who are not likely to go on to college, possibly getting a general diploma, maybe a certificate of completion, is to make sure that when they leave us and enter the community, that they have developed these work skills. So the picture in the middle, something really interesting that we did this year is we've always had our kids shred for the teachers at Central High School. This year we had Mr. Lenny, Mr. Francisci, helped us get large recycling containers, and we've slotted holes, and each building in the district has one of these in their copy room or in their office. So now our students are shredding documents that need to be shredded for the entire school district. So they have a rotation in which those bins come back to Central, the kids will unpack them, they'll shred, then they go back to the school building. So that's awesome that they're doing that. To the left, we are joining forces with the preschool program, and there's going to be our preschoolers take naps during the afternoon, and those blankets need to be washed. So we are setting up a schedule with the preschool students, our high school students, and there's going to be a laundry service, and our students are going to run that service for the preschool. So we'll have a drop-off pickup schedule where things will be taken back to Carrie Gosh. Then on the right, we have students laminating. They have laminating skills that they would be able to use in a print shop after high school. They laminate for the district for teachers that need things laminated within the building. We also took a wonderful field trip to Erskine Green. We'd like to take another one. It was an amazing opportunity. Ms. Torres with our job skills program, she helped arrange this trip. And what this is it's in Muncie at Ball State University, and it's pairing up our students that are not likely, that are likely to graduate with possibly a certificate. And this allows them the opportunity to earn a certification in either hospitality, patient transport, where they're learning to transport patients, but they've partnered with the Marriott Hotel, Arc Bridges. So the students get the opportunity to live on the second floor of the hotel for 6 weeks while they complete their certification. So in partnership with vocational rehabilitation, the majority of all of that would be covered through them for our students. But it gives our students the opportunity to earn certification so they're able to get employment after high school. Really great place. We wish that they would come to Northwest Indiana as well. Some other things that are up and coming. Prior to COVID, our students in the Job Skills program ran a coffee cart, which was a huge success. They had standing orders for teachers in the morning, would deliver hot coffee to the teachers. With COVID, that was kind of put at a standstill. Upcoming in August, we're going to be ready to open our coffee and smoothie shop, which will be run out of the Teachers Cafe at Central High School. And this will be a place where it's going to be student run. So they're going to offer 3 different kinds of smoothies and still coffee. And so where teachers can come in, they can eat their lunch, they can grade their papers on their planning hour, they can do whatever they need to do. and we're putting our students to work, and we're having them run it. They're learning the skills and just all the skills that they might need to find employment again after high school. What we have found is that too many students after high school that were earning the certificate were just staying at home. And we don't want that. We want everybody out, everybody is capable, and through these pictures, we're showing you how capable all of our students are of learning a skill and doing a great job with it. So our coffee cart and smoothie shop will be up and running back to school in August. I want to talk a little bit about transition, CTE, and pre-ETs. So as Ms. Pohl mentioned, the Career Technical Education Program, Ms. Lee has worked. She has been fabulous to work with as far as getting more special education students involved. So we're kind of all, the three of us are on this mission to have these meetings where we decide what we need to do to get our kids in these classes. And the thing is, we've come up with a list of barriers, and we're just trying to block the barriers to get these kids in these programs. Because again, as Mrs. Pohl said, even if they're not able to get the state certificate, they can participate and learn a skill. You know, on April 21st, it's going to be an in-house field trip for students and their parents to come in and hear about the Medicaid waiver. And the Medicaid waiver is what will pay for a lot of services and supports for our students after high school that earn the certificate of achievement. So we're going to have an in-house field trip. We're going to have a guest speaker, but we're also going to have tables from the CTE, the different areas of CTE for the parents to be able to visit with their students to help them make decisions about what interests them. No, maybe they were not able to pass the state fire exam, but they would be able to do something at the fire station and help out and learn skills. So that's going to be April 21st, so we're really excited about that. And then also the classes, the 3 classes at the high school will have their job skills on display, and they will also have the unified sports, a table representing unified sports. And many of those students that participate in the unified sports with our students are also in these CTE programs. So we want to have like a mentor-mentee program in those CTE classes. And
No.
go back real quick, sorry.
My bad.
Just real quick, pre-ETs. Pre-ETs is a pre-employment service of the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. And it used to be that we started talking with parents about this as students junior or senior year, about services that would help bridge the gap when they graduated. Well, that's no longer the case. We're starting early. We want them to have a jump start. We don't want there to be any gap in between graduation and joining the community as far as workforce. So pre-ETs is a pre-employment service, and we have Miss Miriam who comes to Central High School and meets with groups of students once a week, and she helps them with job-related skills, what they're good at, what their needs are, what they want to do, what they'd like to do. She helps with resumes, filling out job applications. She's great. And those kids meet with her once a week for 20 minutes, and she also attends field trips with them to get them to see what's out there. They just came back from the Griffith Airport. That's the picture in the middle. And they learned about aviation programs that they were interested in. And that's all I have.
Yeah, and so thought I'd highlight our unified sports. Monica Maxwell was here, and we were charged by the superintendent to come up with this program, and she was very instrumental. She helped with bringing football, track, and then this year we implemented cheerleading, and I'm so proud of our Gen Ed students. I will tell you that we have the best Gen Ed students around. They are so accepting. They are so wonderful. And what's really great about it is that they play together, and to watch them out on that field, one, they protect our students, and two, they are such great mentors. And you know, a lot of times we bring our students and we make sure that they're part of the community, and we say that they're going to learn. What happens is the Gen Ed students learn. they learn about differences, they learn about acceptance, and they actually just love what they're doing there. And I'm going to tell you that they have such a great time. I don't care what it is, they'll do it, and they're great role models and mentors for our kiddos. So that was really great. And as you see, we even have parents wanting to be cheerleaders here. So we have our students participating in any activity that they qualify for and that they would like to. And so we have Noe here, he's a drummer and a great drummer. He's in the band at the middle school. And Noe needs a little support, so we hire a para. He's after school. She makes sure that he's able to participate. Our goal is to make sure that our students have the same experience that all students have. They deserve it. As we said, they're a gen ed student first. So we're really proud of our kids, our students being able to participate to the maximum extent possible. So this year, we have Megan, who was the first time she was a Duchess at homecoming. And then we have Mr. Jabari Moore, our king, our preacher. He was the first time ever did we have a student with special needs hold that king crown for homecoming. So as we said, we want to highlight our students because they're part of our community, and that's how it should be. And you don't see that too often, but our community in East Chicago has accepted and embraced, and I'm just so proud of us and what we do for our kiddos. We hold parent meetings monthly as often as we can, and tomorrow night at 5 o'clock online, we give the parents an opportunity to log in and be at home so they don't have to find a babysitter or anything, and we bring in guest speakers. We bring in, or our team puts on different meetings. And tomorrow night, the ARC's coming. They're going to talk about guardianship because students parents need to know about the different guardianships. There's 5. I didn't even know this till about, I think Miss Patty Jo and I were in a meeting, I think it was a couple years ago, and we found out there were 5 different types of guardianship. They're going to talk about planning or charting the course for later on for your students. They're going to talk about the Medicaid waiver, and then what's going to happen is we're going to set up appointments so the parents can individually sit down with the ARC so that they can fill out these applications. They're very difficult, and so we want to make sure that our parents have the supports that they need for their students. So we'll be doing that tomorrow at 5 o'clock online. What are our next steps? So with the Americans Rescues monies, we are going to look at tutoring and credit recovery because of learning loss. That was the reason for the government giving us this money. Of course, everyone talks about that learning loss, and we've seen a great deal. So the evaluation process, we're looking at after school. We're doing whatever we can to make sure we meet our timelines and alleviate the backlogs for the evaluations. We're implementing more transition for all students because, as I told you when I started in 2014, 85% of our students sitting at home after graduation is not acceptable. And that's why we're working on all of the pre-ets and the transition and everything that we do so that we give our students exposure and opportunity so that they have a future for whatever they choose. And then we're developing an alternative programming for students with disabilities. We need that extra step, whether it's after school. Some students just can't come during the day. Some students just don't fit that model of walking into a classroom and sitting down. So we have to come up with ways so that we make sure that we service them. So that's going to be a part of our plan. Stipends so that we can do our training. Training, if you walk in to any district and you find something that's not happening or something that's not right, it usually has to do with training. People will say, I didn't know, I didn't get the training. So you have to be able to train, and that's very important. And then we'd like to eventually get a behavior specialist. We hire people to come in and help. We need somebody on site. We have more behavior than we've ever seen because of COVID. It has trauma has been unbelievable. Sitting talking to Ms. Beckham, you know, she and I are constantly talking, and we just are so disheartened by some of the things we're seeing our students that have suffered because of this. So we're looking at bringing someone on to help us with that. And of course, improving technology in the classroom. What do I mean by that? We have a lot of great technology. Mr. Ontiveros does a wonderful job. I'm talking more about to provide the technology that students need to be successful, whether it's headphones, whether it's a specific device, so that they can see. Those are the type of things I'm talking about. So I do have some celebrations, and it's, I don't want to mention names because I didn't get permission. And with the permission, I mean, with all the pictures and everything, you always have to have permission. Parents sign something, but I always ask parents. I want them to know that their students are in our pictures and stuff. But the celebrations I didn't have time for. So we had a student at the middle school who tested for the COGAT, which is the High Abilities test. And, you know, people always say, well, he's a student with an IEP. He's got a disability. That doesn't mean anything. That means he needs a little extra help. He needs a little extra resources to help him be successful. Well, I'm going to tell you that one of our students scored highest on that COGAT test. That's success. Also, at the high school, we had 2 students who took the PSAT and scored highest in the math area. Those are our students. So we want to celebrate. As I said, our students, they can learn and they will learn if they have this what they need. And lastly, so I hear this constantly. It's not fair. They get this. It's not fair. Well, that's not what it's about. So I want you to look at this, and I want you to look equality versus equity. What does that mean? If we give everybody equal, this is what we'll get. Our kids will not have a level playing field. Our students will not be able to be successful. We have to look at equality. Equity, because equity gives our students what they need in order to be successful. We need to give them the resources and the tools so that they have that level playing field, so that they can see what's going on. And that's why when I come to you and I ask you, I need this or I need that, I need it for our kids. I need our students to be successful, and I need them to have a future. And so I just want to say thank you for your support, for supporting our students, for supporting the next one, supporting our students, our staff, our parents, and our special education department. So any questions?
Thank you.
This is a team effort, by the way. That's why we're all up here, because we are a team, and we are truly a team. We work so well together. Questions?
Anyone have questions, trustees?
Thank you again.
I
Madam
think
President.
there is.
Yeah,
How many programs do you currently have in the CT program?
CTE, oh goodness.
I think there's like 9 or 10.
And I think our students participate in almost all of them. And we actually meet monthly now, because that is my goal. I want our students to participate. And if I'm going to be on the team to get our students in there, I'm going to do that, because I'm going to do whatever it takes. So Miss Marin Lee, Ms. Kulianis, and myself, we sit down, we talk about the barriers. What are the barriers? Okay, let's remove that barrier. I know how to remove it. Do you know how? If not, we call somebody else, we find out. But I want to say there are 9, and Ms. Marin Lee is actually trying to add as she goes.
Okay, and my last question is, what's the earliest grade do you start with these kids with CT? Is it the high school level, middle school level? Which level is that?
I think it's the freshman.
It is the high school level, and they actually they do a tour freshman year, and they would start the program their sophomore year.
Any other questions?
I just want to say thank you, not only as a school board member, also as a parent. I have been in meetings with the groups, and I've seen the changes of, you're right, we need to do this, let's find out a way. I think that's very key when parents come in and ask that question. We had a discussion about our parents who are Spanish speakers, what are we doing for them to make sure that we get someone there that could speak their language, regardless if they're asking for it, because I know, that part of my community will not ask sometimes. I also have to say, a big, huge thank you to those general education teachers, the CTE and other general education that are actually modifying their curriculum for students, because I know it has to be a very daunting task, and especially when you have a parent that's always complaining about something, it has to be hard on them, because not only are you doing your regular curriculum, but on top of that, you're modifying. And our paraprofessionals also, they go above and beyond. And the special education program, I've heard many times from many areas that we probably have one of the best in the area. And I'm glad that we lead at something. And I'm glad that we have our area schools look at into our school. Are we the best? There's always room for improvement. But I think that we do a good job of making an effort to make improvements for our students. And that right there is key for us. That's why we have people come to our school district from very far away. So thank you all. Teachers, gen ed teachers, and paras, you guys are definitely have a big heart. Takes a lot.
I just say that we, as a staff or team, really try to develop relationships with our parents. Because the parent, if they are not on board and they don't trust us, we will never be able to move forward to help their child. And that's one thing I'm very proud, is that parents, they will call, we will meet, we will do whatever we need to do. And we go in there as a team. So many parents will say, I'm so worried about an IEP meeting, or, and I'm like, you shouldn't worry, because this is a meeting to develop a plan for your child so that your child can be successful. And we're gonna do what's right, and we do. And so we're very proud of that. And I don't always give everything they want. It's what the child needs, and I always say that. So thank you very much for your support. Yes?
Yes, on your goals, number 2 there, it says that will increase our growth by 5%. Could you explain that sentence there?
Yes, on all assessments. So overall, when we receive our report card, as you saw at the 26 and 40, that they take into consideration all of the assessments that we take, and then we get a score for that. And so when I say that, it's 5% on those scores. So overall, all scores. So the alternative assessment, the SAT, the iLearn, all those assessments into one for that report card.
And then what happens if you don't meet that 5% goal?
That's our goal in the district. Okay. Actually, I work with the state, and they provide us with training and what have you. You just have to continuously increase and make progress, is what they tell us. And I've actually, like I said, we've been able to increase by just working together, working with the general ed. Ms. Gutierrez has been a wonderful work with her, just being included in making sure our students have specific, for example, Ms. Gutierrez asked about a specific vocabulary program. Well, as we know, vocabularies across the board, our students lack, the skills with vocabulary. So we work together to get programs in place so that our students have those. And I know that we're going to see that increase because of the plans that we have to work together.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Any other questions?
I don't think so.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you, Special Ed Department, thank you.
Next, we'll move to the business portion of the meeting. The first item of the agenda is approval of minutes 1/18/2022. Is there a motion for the agenda item?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Brigham, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 2, approval of claim docket. Is there a motion for the agenda item?
Madam President, I move for approval.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Madam President?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Here.
Oh, so I'm sorry.
Thank
Trustee
you.
Gomez.
Yes, on page 18, there's an expenditure there. Yes, the first one there, it's check number 110092. So this is, what is that expenditure for?
Are you referring to the Granger?
Yes.
The Granger expenditure is for repair part. So we go to Granger and get all our supplies to repair our compressors or anything, any electrical things. So that's the reason why that's there.
And just one other comment. I made this comment before. I see this other sporting group is on page 20.
I didn't understand what you said. Can you repeat
Page
that for me?
20, check 110049, the first one there. There may be specialized equipment, but where possible, I still think we should try to purchase in town.
This equipment here that's being purchased is being purchased for PE classes. And the teachers have their vendor list that they go out and use to purchase the PE equipment. So that is just PE equipment that we end up replacing every year for some other reason. But these are teachers actually ordering that. That is not the finance department. That's the teachers
Right, I understand.
choosing to work from that vendor.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Ms. Bigum, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 3, approval of personnel report. Is there a motion?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for the agenda item.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigum, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 4, approval of distribution of payroll. Is there a motion?
Yeah, Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Williams seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigum, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 5, approval of donations. Dr. Finley.
We are seeking your approval tonight of 4 specific items on the board docket. One is from Top 20, Bella Boost tickets for our little people at the preschool. McKinley has a donation from an organization for basketball shirts. And the last one is for Washington's Enchanted Backpack, which they're scheduled to receive on March the 31st.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for approval?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigum, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 6, approval of fundraiser. Dr. Finley.
McKinley Elementary is seeking a fundraiser, 2 of them. One of them is for our Simple Coupons fundraisers for our students, and it is so that they can purchase for pupil activities and those sorts of things. And the other one is for Memorial Garden for a student that we unfortunately lost last semester at McKinley.
Do I have a motion for approval?
Madam President, I make a motion for approval.
Trustee Williams makes a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez On.
Yes. Item number 7, approval of pool claims. Dr. Finley?
I am going to, at the last board meeting, we did pull some claims, and what we have done is giving you additional content and information regarding those claims that were pulled, in the hope that you will approve this tonight for us to pay the vendors.
Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, I move for approval.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
I second that motion.
Trustee Williams seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigum, roll call.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez On.
Yes. Approval of Administrator Assistance Efficiency Study Contract. Dr. Finley?
Administrative assistant is the winning bidder of, or the winning organization to be able to do our efficiency study. What will happen here is they will rather, in partnership with us, review our current organizational structure and practices, which will include our written protocols and our policies even when needed. They will also help us to look at our comparative structure as a whole in comparison to other school districts that look like ours, and they will come back with some recommendations to better address our structural and organizational vulnerabilities, along with those recommendations to help the district be able to perform at its maximum capacity for students. I just wanted to say there are a couple of individuals in the audience who did help with that process. Mrs. Pohl was on the Rate and Review Committee for the RFP, Mrs. Linda Randolph, along with Lenny Francisci and Rosalinda Martinez, and I just want to say thank you to them for doing the hard work to make sure that we got the right organization in here to support us. Thank you.
Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? I just have a comment of, I'm glad that we're finally taking the step to actually do an efficiency study. There's a lot of, we should be doing from this, pulling from here to get this, or, this doesn't work, but we should probably add it. Now it's gonna be in black and white, so we're able to read it, able to see. When you have to say that ugly R word referendum that people don't want to hear, well, guess what? We are doing our homework. And we're making sure that what is needed, and what's not needed is not needed before anything moves forward. So we're finally doing this correctly. So I am very happy to be able to pass this.
Roll call.
Ms. Spiegel?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez On.
Yes. Item number 9, approval of American School Counselor Association ASCA agreement. Dr. Finley?
I am going to defer to Ms. Beckham, our Director of Social Emotional Learning.
Good afternoon. I am seeking board approval for a workshop. As you all know, we're wrapping up our Lilly grant, and one of the components that is required is for our school counselors to become RAMP certified. And so as we wrap up the grant, I want to make sure that the work that they have done is on target for us to be RAMP certified by next October. And so the workshop will be with an ASCA rep who will review the documents that have been completed throughout the year. And then if we need to do something different or go a different direction, we have time to improve or make corrections prior to the date where we have to submit in October.
Thank you.
No problem.
Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, I make a motion for approval.
Trustee Williams makes a motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Ms. Bigum, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez On.
Yes. Item number 10, approval of IDOE returns. Dr. Finley.
In your docket, you did receive a notice of some funds that we do have to return to the state of Indiana. I am seeking approval for this memo to be approved, we have to formally go through this process so that we can then send this money out, and then we have to be able to reconcile. Our CFO is here as well if you have additional questions regarding this particular topic, but we have to formally get your permission to send those funds back.
Is there a motion for approval? Trustee Smith makes a motion for approval.
I second that motion.
Trustee Williams seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Rodriguez?
is there a reason why we're giving money back to the IDOE?
Yes, I actually will go through it. And actually, I'm going to defer to our CFO, and if I need to add additional content or context, I will.
So the first two were grants that we did not totally use due to the fact that either a program was not approved or training was not completed. So we have to send it back for 2 years of that amount. For the next two, it was due to the state turf taxes being changed, and that total amount was not given out in that grant. For the next one, the teachers decided not to attend this training, so we have that to get back. Also, the final one was that we had training that was not attended, and we also did not have some of our supplies to come in for that grant.
Any other questions? Ms. Bigum, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 11, approval of MOU North Shore Health Center. Ms. Beckham.
Good evening. I am asking approval again for a MOU with North Shore. They will be providing, with your permission, of course, vision screenings for our kindergarten class, all 250 of our kindergartners throughout our elementary buildings for free. So I ask for your permission to do so.
Is there a motion for approval?
Madam President, I make a motion for approval.
Trustee Williams makes a motion for approval.
I'll second.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Williams?
Attorney Harris, this was drafted by you, this MOU? Yes, it was. Okay. That's it.
Any other questions? Ms. Bigum?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 12, approval of IT help desk upgrade and asset management software recommendation. Mr. Ontiveros.
Thank you. I am asking the board for approval for the following. In order to better manage and facilitate our current help desk, I recommend we purchase Incident IQ with Asset Manager software to replace our current system. We are using 3 systems right now to maintain our device management, damage, lost assets, and help desk. With Incident IQ, it's an all-in-one package. This package can benefit us with our primary 2-to-1 and secondary 1-to-1 device deployments and help desk needs. I'm asking for your approval.
Thank you. Is there a motion for the item on the agenda?
Madam President, I make a motion for
approval.
Trustee Williams makes a motion for approval.
Second.
Trustee Gomez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? Bigum?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez Orange.
Yes. Item number 13, approval of Esport Club. Mr. Ontiveros.
Yes, thank you again. Last fall, I went to a technology conference in Indianapolis, and I ended up taking a class for this esports, thinking it was going to be more of a class to create games. It turned out to be something totally different, which I didn't know that other high schools actually and universities were doing this, which is having a team, club team, play games in the university and in these high schools. So I came to realize there's a need. Well, I believe there was a need at Central. So what is esports? Esports is basically what it sounds like. It's a sporting, they have multiple games and kids just play on their joystick, just like you do on PlayStation and what have you. But this time, they're not only playing each other, they're playing other schools or other universities. So some of the examples that I researched is here locally in Hammond, Purdue Northwest. So they are under their athletic program. It's not a club, it's actually under athletics. So this is one, if you look at the screen, this is their game room at Purdue Northwest. It's brand new.
Wow.
One thing that really got me looking here on their roster, all these kids are participating at PNW. Also, Indiana Institute of Technology, in game rooms here. Valpo. So you can kind of see the same concept here. It's gaming, right? It's gaming, but at the university level. Here's an article in the local newspaper. And this recently came out in January. And one more, not to bore you, but one more article here. This is about another high school, which is in Hobart. So in here, in the article, Munster's in here, Portage is in here, Hobart, Munster, and Portage here. So just letting you know that other high schools are actually doing this and have been participating in these esports for a while now. Is there a need? I had a call out already at Central early this year. I used to coach baseball for 15 years at Central. I had a call out every single year. The most I would get would maybe be 10 to 12 kids a year. So I had a call out for this esports. The first day, the first call out, I had 24 kids sign up. 24 kids. So that told me right off the bat there is a need. And there was both boys and girls. Okay. So again, more than I ever did. So I'm thinking the thought process of having a club here is I want to be able to create this team with the same ECA rules that I had in baseball, which is, you follow your student athlete template where they're, students before they're athletes. So with that in mind, I want to be able to keep the sports eligibility that you do in like football, basketball, baseball, what have you, but also incorporate it with this new club. So if they get more than 2 Fs, I believe, they cannot participate. Or if they're struggling with a class, we might have to go and do some study tables in order for them to participate or what have you. The same structure that we've had so long in baseball, use the same template in this club. So one of my goals that I'm thinking is starting off with the club with 10 players. And obviously we had 24 signups, that's going to be an easy accomplishment. So if we continue on the club level, I want to be able to maybe become an ECA at one point, but that's further along the lines. If we do an ECA, then I would like to have a varsity team of 10 players and a JV team of 8. So we'll have pretty much 18 to 20 kids participating in this sport. This league is an organized league. It's not just a free-for-all. There is Indiana High School Sports Esports Network that's actually structured enough where they are able to schedule games amongst Indiana high schools. There are not locally, centralized. There's, I know Portage plays like Carmel and Indianapolis or what have you. So it's pretty much throughout the state, and they actually start having state finals just like they would do in sectionals or in regionals and any other sport. Within this league, there's 11 games. So here's an example of one of the games, just so everyone has a clue of what it is. This one's called Super Smash Brothers.
I know that.
So as you can see, it's a video game. Video game. There's commentators. I just want to see it, and, and trophies and what have you, so. This is Super Smash Brothers.
Team Japan, meanwhile, after stumbling.
There's another one called Rocket League. This one's playing soccer with cars. But again, if you look on both sides, it's 3-on-3 on this championship game. And again, commentators.
Miss gets it over the top of him. Envy now fully in control.
So again, with this esports, I mean, the realm or the opportunity is mostly open because not only can you be a player, you can be a commentator for the game. Players or students can start getting into like software that runs the platforms to watch the games online. So it's not necessarily only playing games. You have different avenues of what the game needs in order for you to be able to see it. So these are a lot of avenues that you traditionally don't see in athletic sports because, maybe some of the students don't like to go outside or what have you. So they'll never get an opportunity to represent their community or their high school as others would playing those natural sports. So I think this is a great opportunity for those students that just don't have that niche in playing something else, but they do have a niche playing here.
Thank you. What is the pleasure of the board?
Madam President, make a motion to approve.
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for approval. Trustee Williams seconds the motion. Are there any questions?
Yeah, President.
Trustee Gomez.
Excuse me. Is there equipment that we're going to need beyond what we already have?
There is not. The students can play with a keyboard and a mouse, but just, I guess, to be at a disadvantage, the other schools do play with a joystick. So like a regular joystick that I've seen, they're like $15, $20 at the most.
Are there any other questions?
Madam President,
Trustee Rodriguez.
so how do we look at this? Would this be more of an extracurricular activity type sport? Or, I think that's the area that I see this is going, right? Okay. And is there any type of compensation for Mr. Ontiveros for this? I wish this was around when I was because I'm a gamer too, but I don't use a joystick. I use a keyboard, and I have a gaming keyboard, and this is awesome. It's great. It's good to see that students
Said he
get
would have
involved in
signed up
stuff
as an
like this.
assistant. That's what he said.
You definitely need one, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we need volunteers. We need volunteers.
There you go.
All right.
Are there any other questions? I just want to say, George Ontiveros, when once a coach, you're always a coach, and you found a way to coach again. I told Dr. Finley, I went on IUN site, and they were actually looking for a gamer coach so that they could make it underneath their athletic program. And then, like you, I started researching. I have to be honest, I didn't understand it. My son's a gamer. It gets on my nerves sometimes. But again, as parents and as, educators, I guess you have to put yourself in their shoes. Ms. Randolph always says, what are you going to do to bring yourself to them? And I think this is a good way of bringing a sport or activity to the child. So I think that's super cool that we actually went there and to do that. And I watch my child play, and I literally see him code.
Yeah.
And that, he had explained it to me because I'm like, no, you're not coding. And he's like, no, I am. And then he showed it. So another aspect of technology, science, the STEAM that we're trying to promote definitely is right here. So definitely super cool. And because of COVID, I think even more, our students are trying to do things where they're at home, just kind of together. Again, I coach differently, we coach different sports, but I'm glad that people are realizing that other sports and activities are needed for students. So thank you again so much for thinking outside the box to bring this. Very cool.
Looking forward to see where it goes. This is going to take off big time.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments?
I just want to make one comment just to say that, yes, the the outside the box thinking is definitely one, but just know that there are scholarship opportunities for students in this space as well. So it is all connected to education. So I don't want, when parents are looking at this for their kids and they're after school, they're not just playing video games. You really are shaping their minds to be able to possibly get scholarships, full rides to compete in gaming. So I just wanted to add that additional context as well.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you.
My things are changing. I like it. I just gotta get with technology. I'm fighting it, but it's coming at me in all different directions. Now it's sports, so okay, I'm done.
And it definitely opens up your mind. It gives you a rapid, I mean, you're like opening up an 11, I mean, just your brain, everything. I mean, you're using all functionalities from your hands to your eye movements to everything, so yeah.
And you also have to be able to collaborate amongst your teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That communication skill, yeah.
Yep.
all right, well, thank you. Ms. Bigum?
Trustee Rodriguez?
As a fellow gamer, yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
I have no other choice, yes.
Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes. The next item on our agenda is curriculum and instructional. We have Ms. Gutierrez.
Good evening, everyone. I did also want to take a quick moment of your time just to give you an update of our assessments and where we are with that, and then I'll move into our textbook adoption, iRead, and then some high school testing. So just to give everybody an update, we have concluded with our WIDA testing with all of our buildings. That is the measure of our English language. It is a state test. We have also concluded with our COGAT test, which is the cognitive abilities test that Ms. Pohl referred to earlier. We haven't gone through the data set yet. We'll be meeting with our STCs, our assistant principals, to go through that first data point. The SATs at the high school level are done. That window is closed. Mr. Tokars does have a retake window open for later on in the year, but we're all caught up with the SATs right now. Starting tomorrow, we have iRead. iRead will be happening for all of our third graders across the district, as well as some possible fourth graders who did not pass in third grade. We have held English and Spanish parent informational meetings just to make sure everybody understands the test regulations and just what to expect and how to help their students be successful during the testing week. So that'll kick off tomorrow, and the window's open to the 18th, so they kindly give us to the 18th 2 weeks to test all of our third graders. We do have IM that will begin in April, and Ms. Pohl is taking advantage of our district PD day, and she'll be meeting with her applied skills teachers and making sure they're up to date with all of the testing requirements and coordination and manuals that they need. So thank you, Ms. Pohl, for taking that on. Moving on to our textbook adoption, we're in the year of math adoption. So under the guidance of Dr. Finley, as a district curriculum of team of one, I work with the principals to come up with a flow chart and protocols and processes of what we do in the year of textbook adoption, and it helped us to conform our thinking and our thought process and making sure that we included everybody necessary for the textbook adoption. So we began in January with first finding our rubric. We got a hold of a rubric by Keep Indiana Learning, and we shared it amongst the high school, middle school, and of course the elementary. We took those rubrics, and some of them we tweaked, and then we attended the math caravan that was hosted in Maryville on the 20th of January. We were able to sit in for the elementary 6 vendors presenting. For the middle school and the high school, they didn't have as many. I believe they had maybe 4 or 5, but remember, they're more subject specific, so they didn't really have the full presentations that the elementaries had. We sat with the rubrics as a team. We included teachers. We have math curriculum team members. We included the principals, instructional coaches, went through the rubrics, and then we narrowed down those teams that we visited to 4. They then came back and presented to the team. They then presented to the team. The team then went through the rubrics, and we narrowed it down to 2. So those 2 vendors that we got the top 2 are now going to come to March 9th and present to our whole district, so that make sure that all the teachers, including our special ed teachers, our EL specialists, everybody have
an input on the top 2 areas that are going to be coming. So they'll be coming on March 9th to present. Once again, our teachers will be provided rubrics. We also want to weigh out the pros and cons about jumping into a new math curriculum. It may be appropriate at different levels. High school is looking for something different, so we want to give everybody the autonomy of doing what's right for the kids first and then the staff. So we want to think about it that way. We understand that we have new maps and we understand that we have new formative assessments, so we definitely want to just look at the whole big picture and what heavy lifts will be taken this summer when we move through this adoption. We are still going to adopt whatever happens, but we have to understand that we will have to sit and make a game plan with whatever math curriculum the team and the teachers decide on. So that's what's going on with our textbook adoption. We do have in the flow chart to be able to have the teachers vote and give their pros and cons to the district office by the 18th of March, to give them some time to view the vendors. They have samples in their buildings. Just give them a couple, if they want a second meeting with the vendor, they can schedule that. We just want to give them some time to process the presentations from March 9th. And then we are asking that the buildings make a final decision, and that we'll present those decisions to you, the board, as to what our adoption, where it leads us in that voting. So including you in the process of our textbook adoption. So I went through IREAD and the textbook adoption. If you don't mind, I'm number 2 on the agenda as well. It goes into naturalization. I'll just keep talking. Okay, so starting in 21-22 school year, the schools are required to report the following information. So our high school students, if you were enrolled in your U.S. government course, where you are credited for a Core 40, they required you to take the naturalization exam, and then after you took the naturalization exam, you had to report out your results to the Indiana General Assembly. And so being in compliance, of course, Mr. Tokars, who's wonderful at making sure we're in compliance with the state, he has already submitted the JOT form with our results. And so I just want to present to you that in semester 1, we had 84 students take that course, take that exam that were scheduled in U.S. history. 79 of them passed it, which gave us a score of 94% that we presented to the state. Now, that was just with our semester 1 students in U.S. government. We will get that data again because we'll have to report to the state again when the new students enroll. It doesn't affect whether or not they pass the course. So they won't need to do retests or anything like that. They're just requiring it for the course to take this exam via the state of Indiana. Okay, so we'll have you updated once they take part 2, which will be with our next group of kids. And that concludes curriculum and instruction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a question, why did suddenly the state ask for naturalization tests for suddenly? I mean, that's just so
Random.
It is, well, the government did pass it, the state legislature passed the state that we have to meet certain criteria and certain standards in order to say you're a naturalized citizen. So, yeah. So somewhere down the line, this was in the General Assembly. And I can get you guys the language that goes along with that particular bill.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see,
Okay.
please.
Yep, I can do that.
And I actually have the memo from the state of Indiana, so I can forward that to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Because it should have the Indiana code in it as well.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we will have superintendent's remarks.
Well, thank you all to everyone that was here this evening to present. I know this is the teamwork. This is what we do. So I want to say thank you to all you guys who were here to present this evening. Piggybacking on what Mrs. Gutierrez just stated about math, I will be coming back to the board in April, May, probably more towards April, to make a request for adoption of our math curriculum. She did share with you the process. It's pretty transparent and pretty clear. So we'll come back to you in April with that recommendation. This week is also National School Breakfast Week, so in alignment with our IREAD 3 testing, we do have National School Breakfast Week, and I did send you all that as well. So they have some fun breakfast items and things that they are talking about as far as from Sodexo, like today was Find the Shamrock Day, to win some prizes. So we do have National School Breakfast Week, so I wanted to definitely share that. I want to say thank you to everyone. We had Read Across America Day last week on March the 2nd as you came in to the room this evening, as well as the conclusion of tonight's meeting. There's going to be a continuous rolling video showing the various clippings from our 5th annual Dr. Seuss book giveaway to promote youth literacy. Just want to say thank you to our teachers, community leaders, School City of East Chicago staff, and businesses for taking the time outside of an already busy day to read to students. And as a result of this collaboration with the aforementioned people and in partnership with Athletes for Charities, we distributed 900 books to our School City of East Chicago students. It was a great day, so that is something to be very proud about. Early registration is going to happen this year in our school district. So for the 22-23 school year, we will have early registration. It will be online, and it'll begin on April 4th for our current students. We will have more information for you at the March the 21st school board meeting. There is a committee working really hard to get that all together. The district is really working hard to improve communications with external stakeholders. You can help us by following us on Facebook, and if you are a parent of a current student or even a guardian, please make sure all of your contact information, including your email address, is up to date and skyward. As you just heard Mrs. Gutierrez as well talk about assessment, that's going to continue all the way through May. Students with the support of guardians could potentially see an increase in math and reading scores this year. You have some tips that were sent to you via email if you had a chance to read them, if you follow us on Facebook. But just please make sure that your student gets an ample amount of sleep before the test. Mark the testing days on your calendars to help remind you and your child when the testing will take place and make those preparations. Please work with the teachers and administrators at your child's school to find materials to work on at home in preparation for assessment. And make sure that the student arrives to school early on the day of testing. And if your child is sick, please contact the school immediately to inform them. Our district nurse met with Diana Burns from the East Chicago Health Department this afternoon, and believe it or not, we are in blue. We are at the very, we are in blue. So we've also changed our quarantine days from 7 days to 5 days. These recommendations are in line with CDC as well as the Indiana State Department of Health and IDOE. We're going to continue to coordinate and collaborate with East Chicago Health Department. They're asking us to continue with our mask mandate through spring break, which I'll get to here in a minute. We just want to make sure that we are continuing our trajectory of decreasing cases. E-Learning Day this Wednesday, March the 9th, is an e-learning day for students only. All staff, including transportation, so I'm going to ask security, IT, everyone is participating in district-wide training on that day. Spring break, students and staff will be, instructional staff specifically, will be on spring break from March the 21st to March the 25th. Students and instructional staff's last day before break is Friday, March the 18th, and students and instructional staff will return on March the 28th. Just wanted to talk about some legislation because it's very important, as some of it does relate to special education. One of them is called House Bill 1107, which was defeated in the Senate, 0 to 50, yay. Not even the sponsor of that bill, her name is Senator Cruz, voted for it. This is the special education bill requiring school districts to prove their innocence in all due process hearings and eliminating the use of non-disclosure agreements in the resolutions process. Thank you, everyone, who did get out and advocate and make calls against House Bill 1134. They didn't even call it down for a second reading, which meant that it died, so we don't have to worry about that one. We're still watching just to make sure that it doesn't appear in another bill that they're trying to push. The next one that we're watching and we're keeping our eye on is House Bill 1093. It's so funny because Mrs. Gutierrez emailed me about this one. I'm like, we've been so focused on these other ones. So House Bill 1093 is one that we would like amended to favorable language for school districts. At the hearing for House Bill 1093, the committee discussed topics in the report, including reciprocity, instructional days, and machine grading. The language involving state assessment meetings and school resource officers and executive directors of charter school and early learning advisory committee membership remains. What's hard right now is there's a discussion to be had about the amount of e-learning days we can have in a school district. So that is the one that we don't want the legislators and the government to tell us how to do this work called education. So that's what I have for you guys this evening. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Next, we will move to trustee remarks. Are there any trustee remarks? Any trustee remarks? Okay, well, I will go because I do have two. with that being said, I have senior parents always asking me questions about senior activities. So, there's a senior parent meeting on Wednesday, March 9th, and that's at 5 p.m. at the auditorium at Central High School. From 5 to 5:30, you can meet with Mr. Kinsley from Herf Jones. So he's the individual where you purchase your cap and gowns. And then at 5:30, there's informational meeting with the administration there. So please let a senior parent know so they can let another senior parent know so that we can get the word out. Second, I would like to say March 2nd, we successfully had our 5th annual Dr. Seuss book giveaway, like Dr. Finley said, for grades pre-K to 2nd at all of our primary schools for School City of East Chicago. I want to thank Athletes for Charity for reaching out to give students the opportunity to receive a new book to take home to read and share with loved ones. This initiative only made possible because it was supported by teachers, staff, community members, and local businesses. Very special thank you to Ms. Helen Steinbach, Dr. Finley, Sylvia Alvarez. We successfully donated 900 books. I would like to thank all of our special guest readers who donated time to this event. Thank you to the Mayor, Anthony Copeland, for allowing our staff to participate, or his staff to participate and work with the community. Ms. Kathleen Laporte approached me about 5 years ago saying, "Where is the support for EC youth?" I said, if you're going to bring positive programs or initiatives to East Chicago students, let me know. I'm in 100%. She has done just that. For someone who is not from East Chicago, nor has any ties to Indiana, her commitment to our youth has been unmatched. I hope that our school district will reconsider partnering with Athletes for Charity and Ms. Kathleen Laporte. Her initiatives have always been supported by parents, teachers, and staff, as well as community members and local businesses. Over the years, Athletes for Charity has raised $250,000 in funding and in-kind donations to benefit our East Chicago youth. Thank you all who supported in this initiative. My husband and I had a great time experiencing the joy of students in receiving their books. I'm always about work, and that work was truly rewarding that we did on March 2nd. That's all from me. Public forum would be next.
Got one person.
All right. If you could please step to the podium and state your name. Comment will be limited to 3 minutes. Please be respectful of the board, the staff, and the audience that's here.
Ms. Linda Randolph?
Good evening. I know I talked a lot last time, so this will be brief, 3 minutes. They talked about Dr. Seuss. I want to just say to the community, thank you for participating in that initiative. As she indicated, you had people from the city, you had pastors, pastors' wives, authors. It was really a great community effort. And I want to go back to the wrestling match. It was just outstanding to see how well that was organized, and a lot of people worked hard. They really did. So once again, thank you to the East Chicago community. And I want to just give you a couple of highlights. I'm part of the special ed team. I help them in any way that I can. And I just wanted to just let you know it's a hardworking team. I've worked with several special ed departments in Northwest Indiana. And I think that you have a group of people that are dedicated and really pushing for children. And I want to highlight and remind you of the fact that your early childhood program includes general and special there. So they start very early providing for the needs of our children. And it's very unusual for a school district to have full-day 3-year-old, full-day 4-year-old. That's exciting, and I'm just really happy that we get an early start. I'm glad to hear that we're doing the COCAT testing, I think it's called. Back in my day, it was just pretty much your gifted and talented testing. And so I hope that at some point, we will be able to keep the children that we give this great start to, because that's what pulled my district, my school specifically, out of the hole. We were able to keep those 3- and 4-year-olds, and they were reading by the second half of 4-year-old program. Then they would leave us. So all the other schools in the area had these smart little kindergartners. Well, we have to figure out a way to keep our babies here so that mobility is not as extreme as it is right now. So as always, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The next date and time for our next meeting will be on March 21st, right? Even though it's at 6 PM. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Madam President, make a motion to adjourn?
Trustee Rodriguez makes a motion for adjournment. Trustee Smith seconds the motion. Ms. Bigum, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Chairman Hernandez on.
Yes.